was in their pockets. He was noticing manners of dress, but what he found.
His dad was young.
In Mississippi, King would live out his days as a pilot and die at the wheel, he said. Sam did not. He skedaddled. When I retired from the rebel army in 61, the first attempt at a retreat, it was not badly done.
Aquarium's good?
Yep. We're going to pay the card.
So we're starting our tour. We're going to tour the Huckleberry Finn House. The Huckleberry Finn House, where's the record? The kitchen. Twain's views on slavery evolved as he met new people in 1874. Many of Twain's books contain characters inspired of folks at Hannibal. The young Laura Hawkins became Becky Thatcher. Look at the little spectacles.
This is Becky Thatcher talking. I have been asked to say a few words about Tom Sawyer as I knew him. Tom and I started to school at the same time. He was 7 and I was 6. He was much like the average boy, full of pranks, and often played hooky from school. He also had the habit of a great many American boys to have his pockets filled with articles of trade and included everything. Our first meeting was when Tom turned handsprings in front of our home and accidentally struck me on the head. His interest to know if I had been hurt was the beginning of our acquaintance, which grew to very dear friendship. As children, we considered him humorous. Not what he said or the stories he told were particularly so, but he had a drawling, appealing voice, which made his talk impress his hearers, and the same stories told by others felt flat. In those days, he certainly gave no indication, however, of being the great writer that he was in later life. I believe the life led by Mark Twain of the river caused him to dream of his stories and weave into them the happy childhood days spent in Hannibal.
kids in school did back then. See, back then, you had to work around the house. You had to paint the fence. Yeah, learning to trade. See, this is what a schoolhouse looked like. Everybody went to this.
Let's see, these are the Huckleberry Finn home and the Waterbury home, right? Okay. So you're in Becky Thatcher's home right now.
This is what the old drugstore looked like back in the day. See, and back in, you had Quarantine Island and Colorado.
This video will give you a visual tour of the second floor displays. Dr. Holt Grant and his wife are moving upstairs to this building known as the Hollister House, with John Clemens, Mark Twain's father.
Doctor's office. Tight quarters. Oh, wow. Just think. How it would be.
These are terrible times when one can lose their home so easily and quickly. We have nowhere to turn. Now I feel as if we are a burden.
Jane, we are glad that we can help. We have become such good friends. My husband, Orville, coming to Kentucky as you did, gives us kindred spirits.
Having your family here gives us so much more to talk about. And a playmate for young kids.
I mean, we have you enjoy playing with me.
One day, Sam Clemens overheard a visitor, Dr. Peake, and Mrs. McFarland, Mrs. Grant's mother.
Oh, Dr. Peake, that fire in town last week has my memory going back to that horrible theater fire in Richmond, Virginia, 35 years ago when I was not quite 10 years old. I can't get the memory of that disaster out of my mind.
Mrs. McFarland.